You're live. Meeting will now come to order. We'll start with our roll call. Mr. Johnson.
Here.
Mr. Landwehr.
I am present.
Ms. Sari.
Here.
Mrs. Livingston Matherly.
Here.
Mr. Granlund.
Right here.
Mrs. Olson.
Here.
All please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
The agenda was posted throughout the district according to school board policy, published as a legal ad in the Superior Telegram, posted on the district webpage, and sent to the WNXR radio station for announcement. A meeting notice was sent to the connection for publication. We would need to begin with approval of the March 21st, 2022 agenda open session. All right, can one of you second it? Mr. Johnson, is that okay? Okay, we have a motion and a second to approve the agenda for this meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Consent agenda, beginning with the approval of the February 14th, 2022 regular board meeting minutes and the February 28th, 2022 special meeting minutes. And we have those in our packets. Everyone's had a chance to look at them. Our treasurer's report, Mr. Landwehr.
The summary of the treasurer's report as of February 28, 2022, general fund. The general account on February 28, 2022, there was a balance of $5,340,047.77 in cash and investments. Receipts since the 1st of March and not included in the February 28 balance were $205,751.48, and the disbursements from tonight's March 21 board meeting total $54,777.72. The flexible spending account on February 28, 2022, there was a balance of $24,809.14 in cash and investments. In the health reimbursement account on February 28, 2022, there was a balance of $11,638.34 in cash and investments. In the debt service fund on February 28, 2022, there was a balance of $673.30 in cash and investments. In the capital projects fund on February 28, 2022, there was a balance of $37,098.22 in cash and investments. And a more detailed report on fund activity is included for your review in the financial statements.
Thank you, Mr. Landwehr. Payment of invoices, which are included in our packet. And then moving on to resignations first.
Okay. Ray Barkalow, math teacher at Northwestern High School, effective February 17th, 2022. Patricia Birdseye, accounts payable branch coordinator in the district office. Chris Nicknellis, part-time paraeducator at Northwestern Elementary School. Should I go on to employment? Okay, Michelle Kephart, part-time 0.5 FTE math teacher at Northwestern High School, limited term position for the remainder of the 21-22 school year. Sarah Dahl, part-time FTE math at Northwestern High School to full-time math. This position is for the 21-22 school year only. Morgan Babineau, high school, middle school choir director, beginning with the 22-23 school year. Ms. Babineau received her degree in vocal music education from the University of Minnesota Duluth. Ms. Babineau is also the musical director and the chamber and show choir director. Connor Getter, high school math teacher beginning 22-23 school year. Mr. Getter is a graduate of Mankato State University with a Bachelor of Arts in Mathematics education. He has 6 years of experience teaching math to high school students. Gina Hissa, Northwestern High School paraeducator for the Iron River Administrative Assistant position. Ms. Hissa has her associate's degree in office administration, and we are confident this is a great fit for her. Ms. Hissel will also do the substitute teacher calling and will be trained in some state reporting. This assignment is not a transfer as it is in a different employment category. That's why we needed to bring it to you. Abigail Kelleher, part-time, 5.75 hours per day, afternoon, evening custodian at Northwestern Elementary School.
All right. I would look, are there any questions or comments?
Morgan Babineau is the musical director or
Will be. Yes.
Anyone else? Otherwise, I would look for a motion on the consent agenda.
I'll make the motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda for tonight. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. We have a request from Allison Melby and the Visual Arts Classic team to attend overnight state competition, March 31st through April 1st at UW-Madison. And then if they qualify, let's see. Wait, no, I think I read that wrong. Anyway, and then if you qualify, you go to Madison.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. All
So
right.
good evening. We have a few members of the Visual Art Classic here. They actually be doing the regional competition this Friday at Northland College campus. And then those who qualify would be going down to Madison next Thursday and Friday with competition starting Friday morning at about 8 in the morning. So go ahead.
Okay. We will be competing individually this Friday nationally by showing a long-term project and creating site projects. We were given long-term prompts back in December and have been working on our project since then. For the on-site projects, we will be given prompts at 8:30 and have until 11 to complete the project.
With the long-term and on-site projects, we are competing against ourselves. Judges use a score sheet to determine how successful we are in meeting the requirements given in the prompts. It is possible for everyone to get first place, but it is also possible for no one to get first place. In addition, as a team, we will be participating in an art history quiz bowl. We will compete against Ashland and Washburn in a 30-question event.
Each first place finish qualifies the project, student, and/or team of the state meet. So individual students can earn a trip to state with a first place score on their long-term and/or on-site projects. The team can earn a trip to state by winning quiz bowl or the entire regional meet. The team with the most points overall is the regional champion.
This year's state meet is at UW-Madison next Friday, April 1st. We would like to request your permission for anyone who qualifies for state to spend the night of March 31st in Madison. We would leave school at the beginning of the school day on the 31st and then be competing all day Friday and return late Friday night.
We would travel by school van and the overall cost would be right around $1,100 for a substitute teacher, hotel rooms, and meal money if the whole team qualifies. Do you have any questions for us?
Are you the whole team or are there others?
There's 9 members.
Why don't you guys introduce yourselves and what you're competing in?
I can start. I'm Kylie Olson and I'm competing in sculpture. I'm also the only person that has actually been able to compete in regionals. That's because we have a pretty young team and I'm the only senior. And COVID.
Hello, I'm Haley Finkler. I am doing painting and this will be my first year doing this.
I'm Jordan Downey. I'm a sophomore and I'm doing painting for BAC. And this is also my first year participating in this.
I'm Ella Kane. I'm an 11th grader, and this is also going to be my first year. I am doing art history for my prompt.
I'm Francesca Germano. I'm a freshman. This is my first year and I am going to be doing sculpture.
Does anyone have a question for this team?
Has Kylie given you confidence? Filled you in on everything?
I did very nice.
Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion to approve the request.
I'll second. We have a motion and a second to approve on the VAC team or those that qualify to travel to Madison for the state competition, which would be March 31st to April 1st. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. That means you're going. Good luck.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Start
Thank
college. You're welcome. Start College Now Early College Credit Program for the fall of 2022. And we have lists of
Eight
those that
students
have.
listed on the spreadsheet in your packet have applied for approval by the proper deadline, which was March 1st.
And it looks like you're requested to approve all except for a couple that were.
Correct, that we already have courses that are equivalent, but this is a money one, so it does need to be individual.
May I ask, it says as an
What was it,
FYI.
FYI?
So am I understanding correctly, the calculus 240,
You
Is-
still have to pass them.
has that always been that way? You had to pass something with it? Because this says you have to take a UWS system math placement test.
The impression I got is that this is not just this year, it's been before, but previously, correct. But it wasn't when we very first started.
So all the kids that are currently taking the calculus 240 currently,
They all know that.
they have, the ones that are taking it right now,
Correct.
have had to take this, so there's nothing.
No, that test will have to happen after I think the course is done, and then they still have to take that test to entrance. That's the impression I got, that they get the whole year to take the course and learn all that they have to learn. But before they're gonna necessarily, or we get like credits, we have to pass the equivalence.
So they can, just to make sure that I'm understanding correctly, they can sign up for,
Yeah.
take the class. Once the class is completed, they have to pass an exam before they'll get credit.
To get the
College
college.
credit.
You got it.
Yes.
They can still pass the class.
Oh, yes, and
And
get
still get
credit.
credit for us, but
Absolutely.
they're only gonna get college credit if they pass that exam.
You got it.
All right.
And they don't have to take it. if they
No.
don't. That's up to them to try to get to college.
Correct.
Yeah, okay. Unlike some of the other classes where
You just get it.
you just get it,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
one's different. All right. Makes sense.
Are there any other questions? No? We have a motion. A second? We have a motion and a second to approve the Start College Now Early College Credit Program applicants for the fall of 2022. All of those except for the two that are denied because we already have
Equivalent.
equivalent
Here.
classes here. All right, and this is money, so we'll do a roll call. Yes, Mr. Landry,
Yes.
Ms. Sardi,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Livingston Mather,
Yes.
Mr. Granlund,
Yes.
Mrs. Olson,
Yes.
and I vote yes. Motion carries. Technical Excellence Scholarship Recommendation.
Recommendation is for Olivia Pangrac, as it's all listed and stated through the board enhancement. Congratulations to her.
Absolutely.
That's rigorous.
And just for our audience sake, in case they don't know, it's based on a point system of classes taken and
Correct.
it's a point system anyway, so.
Yeah.
She was the one that came out on top. It's an awesome scholarship. All right, and we just need to approve that recommendation.
That's correct.
All right, we need a motion then.
I'll make a motion to approve.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve Olivia Pangrac, right?
Pangrac.
For the Technical Excellence Scholarship. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, the same. Motion carries and congratulations to her. WIAA Cooperative Team Renewals. We have boys hockey with Washburn, Ashland, Hurley, and Northwestern. Girls hockey, which is with Superior and Northwestern. Boys swim and dive, which is with Superior and Northwestern. And girls gymnastics, which is Superior and Northwestern. I have just one question. I have to look at my notes. One of them is for just a year, all the others are 2 years. Is that just per when
Gymnastics.
Superior wants to do
That's
it?
the way the WA rules are.
Oh, okay,
The rule from the WA, the gymnastics is the annual.
okay,
The other ones are 2 years.
okay. Well, that's interesting.
their-
I was wondering why one was
Their
different.
rule.
Okay, WIA April. All right.
I have a question. For boys hockey, did we seek out co-oping with Superior?
Multiple times.
Thank you. And for girls, have we tried girls swimming and diving for Superior?
Their numbers don't allow, they don't need a call for girls swimming night. They have plenty of girls. So they don't want us, whatever word we use.
Mhm.
They're not willing to host us.
Any other questions? And I would look for a motion.
I'll make a
Gail
motion.
makes motion to approve.
I can second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our WIAA Cooperative Team Renewals. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. CISA 12 Shared Services Contract for the 2022-23 school year.
The recommendation that you have is very similar to last year, with the exception, we are not adding in extra PD at $925 a day for their PD at this time. We do not have huge major initiatives that we would need that. So right now, we have a meeting coming up. Is it this upcoming week? We have a meeting with their leadership team, the CISA 12, with our leadership team. It's had to be rescheduled, otherwise that meeting would have happened prior to this. But unless something comes that is just so spectacular that we need to get in on it, that cooperative agreement, we're tightening our belt.
So by PD, you're referring to professional development.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We throw a lot of initials around.
I ask every single year, and I'm gonna ask again.
Sure.
The general admission, if I remember correctly, they take all districts, they essentially,
17
and then they divide their total number
overhead.
by 17.
Yes.
Regardless of services used. So if we used one service, we would have that.
You got it.
Is there, that just seems wrong to
The
me.
challenge is CISA doesn't have another source, like we get a source equalized aid per child. They don't have that from the state at all. Their existence is only because of the 17 districts coming together and saying, we need you. We need to try to share in any possible way. So in order to share that 15,000 or
Yeah.
whatever the overhead cost
I mean, that's
is,
half of our bill.
correct,
That's,
because we've trimmed it so much
no,
by
I mean,
doing our own.
I understand. It's just, I look at it and go, if you've got 17 districts and one of them has $200,000 in services that they're buying, and if they have, I'm not telling them how to run the business because this is pretty sweet for them, in my opinion. But it really sucks for us. The fact that we're buying $15,000 in services and we're having to pay another $15,000 for an admin fee. It doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't match what we're buying.
And that would be where, since you notice, most of those are special ed,
Yep.
real specialty areas, audiologists, visual impaired. We may only need 10 days, but to even get 10 days any other way would cost us more.
No, I mean, I understand the services and believe me, I'm appreciative over the fact that you have taken a lot of these services and brought them in-house and saved the district money. It's just that number seems, well, it seems doesn't seem equitable for everybody else.
And Adam, I'd like you to know the state, back about 8 years ago, used to require, to have every CSA receive money, but they quit that a number of years, 8 years ago, because they said that we should get it from our school districts.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying that the money that's being charged is not warranted or that. I'm just saying I don't personally agree with one district or a particular district that's spending 10 times what we're doing is paying the same admin fee as us. That's.
You think a percentage would be?
Yeah, that's how, I mean, if you got $1 million in services that you're doing and we're using $15,000 of it, I would say 1.5% sounds like a good number to me. But that's
That's
just.
how the cooperatives work, I guess.
That's all of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, giddy up. All right. I'll say it again next year too.
You can keep trying, right?
Yeah, right.
All right, so we would need a, motion. And do we have to have a?
Roll call?
Yeah, no, this one.
That's money.
Okay, we can do a roll call. All right, but we need a motion first.
I make a motion to approve the agreement. CISA.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve our contracted services with CISA 12 for the next school year, 2022-23. And we'll do a roll call. Mr. Lander,
Yes.
Ms. Sari,
Yes?
Mr. Johnson,
Yeah.
Mrs. Livingston Allen,
Yes.
Mr. Granlund,
Yes.
Mrs. Olson. Yes. And I vote yes. Motion carries. 2022 summer school offerings. That was fun to look through. Oh, I did, sorry, I crossed it off. Advertising the building construction house bids. So we're gonna start this a little early.
We are on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
We need it off our lot
We need it off.
a little
Right, it
early.
makes
Yeah.
perfect
Sometimes
sense
it
to me.
leaves a week before the new materials are coming in, so. And then, whoever the buyer needs more time, to get the permits, the basement, all that kind of stuff, so it'll work out better.
Is it done? Ready to go?
It is all except for some wiring. I'd like to add that the price looks high. We had over a 45% increase in exactly the same material as the previous year.
I was gonna say, do you remember what the bid was for, not the bid, what the minimum bid was for last year? Was it like 37?
Oh, the minimum
I mean, we got,
Yeah.
somebody was very generous
Yeah,
last year.
That was Cora.
We
Yeah,
all
it
know
was
that
30
living costs. But
It was in the 30s though.
Yeah, it was 37.
I just,
Okay. Do we need a,
I make a motion
Motion,
to approve
thank
the
you.
advertising for the building construction house bids.
I'll second the motion.
we have a motion and a second to approve advertising for the building construction house. Anyway, all in favor, say aye.
I have a question.
Oh,
Not a
sorry.
question.
Comment?
Take that eye back. No, I think we want to compliment the students and staff involved in building that, because I think that's been a great thing at Northwestern. Kids have learned a lot of practical experience and it's helped them. So, kudos.
Does it say how many years it's been?
Been a great program.
Over 50 years.
Over 50.
Wow. Yeah, well over 50.
I wonder if that should be on that advertising.
What, over 50 years?
Yeah.
You got the opportunity to own the 54th house or something.
Well, and I think we're satisfied with purchasers too. I've seen numbers of thousands of hundreds.
Yeah.
People are really satisfied with the quality.
And Mrs. Lynn, the house last year was 37.7.
Was the minimum bid.
All right, we have a motion and a second to approve advertising for the building construction house. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Now, summer school officers.
As you have in your enhancement, copy of the 2022 summer school offerings are enclosed. The swimming collaborative offerings with YMCA are new, along with the CNA course. The NESPTA is providing the transportation funds for the YMCA, which would entail 2 buses for morning and afternoon to and from Lake Nevagman, for a total of $3,758.40. A lot of gratitude to the PTA. And the cost of the CNA class is being funded through the CTE grant. Online learning criteria is a different one, so I'm going to stop right there. We asked that Jenny come and explain about the CNA because it was quite complicated. So Jenny, you have the floor.
Yes. Okay, so I apologize, I just came from track practice. So CNA has been a pipe dream of mine for years. I feel like it's something that's really important, especially in this area, to get a pipeline of workers in the healthcare industry, but also we do have access, like our kids through the Start College Now program can go to a CNA class, but it's after school. So if you are in sports, in drama, in forensics, and anything like that, you don't get to do it. And they're very strict about timelines. So I always felt like this was a bottleneck and this was something that we could solve. When I started asking questions about this, because we did the healthcare pathway through Wisconsin with Pathways. Gosh, I did that with Dan Miller 5 years ago. And I said, how much would it be for us to do this year? He said, minimum $10,000. So I've been stowing away grant money for years. I also am really excited. We've got a ton of partners that are helping launch this venture for our students. Home Medical donated all of our equipment free. So that is outstanding. We also have a partnership with the Concentrated Employment Program to help fund some of the students. I'm also looking at a couple more things, still trying to help with some of the funding. For example, I've talked to some people up at Essentia about helping to potentially maybe cover some of those costs because it is a significant cost. And right now we're just borrowing stuff. We've got some certified CNAs in the room, so she could tell you if you want to hear about the programs. But this has just been something that I hear from kids all the time, that this is something really important to them. And I keep hearing it from employers that this is something that they need. Being part of different workforce development boards, I feel like this is a natural transition. We've got lots of big goals to potentially maybe continue this process. I know Mr. Carlson and I have had many conversations about it, but this has been years in the making, so I'm really excited that it's starting to get going. We still are waiting. We will be sending pictures. The room is mostly set up. I actually have another delivery today from Home Medical, and we're waiting on one more big piece of equipment, and then we will send pictures to the Department of Health to see if it gets approved. And then from there, if it gets approved, then we will license potentially for the teacher and for all of that stuff. So basically it's like for every one step we get done, there's 10 more that follow. So we're really excited. It's been a big labor of love, but it's been fun. I'm very happy to see it going. And if you want to see the room, it's downstairs and it looks great. So.
Is the goal for this to, I guess, word it this way, is the reality that this is going to continue every year going forward, or is the goal for it to continue?
The goal is for it to continue because again, I'm borrowing equipment right now. So it depends
And
on
it took her
partners.
quite a while to get the CTE grant monies, which would be other coursework certification that a student would get. $1,000 would go into this pot. So it took several.
We were told 1,000. Several years it was less, but from the state. But yes, yeah, that was always the goal amount. But then depending on what state funding there was, it's changed. It's been anywhere from like $600 to $800 per student for CTE funding.
Are you capping it at a certain amount of students?
Yeah, so I would love to offer it to everybody that wants to, but to start, I would rather do something small and really well. So I've started with the goal of 8 students because that, just the contract alone for that is almost $5,000. And if I were to do it for 16, it would be double. Plus then you have all the equipment, then you've got all the licensing, there is a lot of factors. So we're gonna start with 8. We do have a really good partnership with the Concentrated Employment Program that for students that if we go above 8 that are interested in it, we also are looking at a personal care worker class that they would also be able to take. That's like an independent learning that we would potentially offer to them too. So that at least they get something and then maybe be able to do the CNA another time.
And are you qualifying these students that are wanting to be in it by grade of school or I mean, do you have a qualification requirement that's going to be, I mean, if you get 8 people that apply, you'll take all 8, but if you get 20, how are you determining those 8?
So I put in the summer school that we would do an application and an interview because the other part of CNA is it is very strict for attendance. You cannot miss a day. And I'm getting nods because that's true. Of like, I've had many students who have done this outside of school and they've had a choir concert and it's like, you gotta choose. Which one are you gonna do? This is like real world. So I wanna have those individual conversations with kids too to make sure that they don't have a family trip or a basketball camp or something like that too with them. And then for those that do potentially have a conflict, offer them this alternative. And again, they can always do this through Start College Now, later on in the school year as well. That's why the benefit of doing it early is that they could still fit it in some other place. We're just trying to get that bottleneck away where we would offer it where kids could still potentially go to weights in the morning, so our athletes would still be able to participate and then go to CNA if they wanted to. So the goal is to get it all done in June. And basically the hours too have changed. It used to be 120 contract hours, then during COVID, it was 75, now it's 90. So again, it's navigating all these numbers, keep fluctuating. So it's just been lots of pivoting and figuring things out. So.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thanks for being a go-getter and making it happen. It's huge.
I'm excited. Very tired, but excited.
Any other questions?
All right. Are there any other questions or comments regarding classes that are?
I want to make a comment because sometimes the CNN program is a start for students to know if they want to be in the nursing program. So it's been very advantageous. I know I've had a number of people in the community and nieces that have participated with this, and it's a good thing that we're offering, and I thank you very much.
Another thing I should have added too is any students that are interested in being a nurse, before CNA was optional, it is no longer optional. So most programs require you to have your CNA license. So that's another caveat of like anybody that wants to go that pathway.
Well, I think it's anytime we can offer an opportunity such as that, it's a great thing. So thank you for all the hours I'm sure you put into this over the years, it sounds like. I'm looking at the YMCA camp and it says 8 to 4. Will our kids actually be there for that?
They leave on the bus at 8:30 and are back by 3:30.
Okay.
Our summer school always runs 8 to 4. It's a long day for our teachers. That's why I always give them significant kudos because they are here about 7:30 and sometimes they're here later than 4 for sure. So, but we do that because we used to do it for a half a day. But our families shared with us that it doesn't work for families that have to work. They can't drop their children off at 4 or at 8 and pick them up. So by having it from 8 to 4, our working families can drop them off still around 8, make it to work, make some adjustments and pick them up. So just really listening to our stakeholders and what works best for our kids. But for the camp programs, they'll drop them off at 8. They can always drop them off earlier at the Tiger's Den for a fee, but they can drop them off at 8. And then the bus will load at 8:30. So they'll be in the cafeteria about 30 minutes getting set up, and then they'll take the bus over, they'll finish at 3:30 and then come back from the YMCA camp. And then the swimming group, they're on site till about 10, and then the buses will pick up and take them up to the YMCA and then bring them back. So 2 programs will be running.
Okay. And as far as like supervision on the bus, do we have to do any of that, or that's just?
Yep, so our teachers will they'll board the buses with them and then go up there. And that's another thing that we worked out, kind of negotiated with the DPI. we aren't able to count any minutes. There's not actual instruction being offered. So we came up with a plan where our teachers will have kind of like a little sheet that they'll go over with students while they're on the bus. So in transit teaching, so we'll be able to collect all of those minutes too, which will help us with FTEs. We're super excited about that. And excited that our teachers have been so flexible with coming up with creative programming too. So they'll go over like the rules and expectations, and it'll be pretty neat. And just so you have a little bit of background, this all started with the YMCA reaching out to us. They are known as the Douglas County YMCA, but it's often referred to as Superior, but they're not just for Superior. So they were looking for ways to better serve the needs of our Maple kids. So I just thought it was really great when they reached out to us and they said, we want to get involved. What are some options? So we brought people to the table and thought of some ways, and this is just an option. And it gets a lot of our families just don't know about Camp Nebagaman, which is right in our backyard. So it's going to get our children out there and then get them for swimming lessons. We don't know how many lakes are out here, and we're going to do the safety around water too, which we'll offer out at the camp as well for kids and families too. So a lot going on. And
That's at the Y camp, right?
So there'll be three different things running. There's the YMCA camp where they'll be out at the camp all day. That's one option. Then the other option is they're on site, but the one out at the camp is not swim lessons. That's literally camp. So all sorts of camp activities, but they're not teaching them swim lessons. The second option is they can do swim lessons. So they come to school here, but then they're transported to the YMCA for actual swim lessons. And then the third option is called Safety Around Water, and that's an initiative through the state for drowning prevention. So it's not swim lessons, it's teaching families, especially who are families living on lakes, things to be careful, especially if you're grandparents and have the new little ones around the water. So we're just super excited for all the programs. The other question I get is about the fee, and I'm just gonna address the elephant in the room. There's a fee in there. The summer school is always free, but if we're gonna use different sites, we have to, there's fees that they charge. So in order to stay in compliance with the state, it's free to do summer school, but if you want to do those programs and go out to the YMCA or to the camp, there are fees, but the YMCA is offering scholarships and financial assistance, so no family should be turned away. So we're also really excited about that. I think I got all the questions I usually get. And I just wanted to speak on Jenny's behalf too, just cycling back, just working in the shadows and watching her do everything she's doing. When she says a lot of hours, that's an understatement. And just, she's brought this to fruition, and it's exciting. Not only is it exciting for our children, but as I sat in on these meetings, it's really endearing to hear the service that our students are going to provide for our aging elders in our community. When we talk with these nursing homes, the limited amount of staff that they have and how tired and exhausted, and the fact that our students literally are going to be saving the day. They're like little angels appearing out of nowhere. So I'm super excited about that too. So I just want to make sure I mention that because it's great for our students, but for those of us who have family members in our local nursing homes, this is such a benefit for them too. So really proud of our students, but kudos to Jenny. Again, this has been a dream. It's been fun to watch it finally come to reality. So good job.
Very nice. Thank you both. Any other questions, comments? And if not, then we would need a motion, please.
I'll make a motion for the summer school offerings for 2022.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to approve the summer school offerings for this summer, 2022. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Online learning criteria for the 2022-23 school year, grades 6 through 12.
Same as last year. One point that we want to make sure our families know is that open enrolled students will no longer be permitted by DPI rule to participate in online programming in the 22-23 school year. Some districts have chosen, self-elected, to not offer open enrolled students any online. However, it was still allowed by DPI, and so therefore we allowed it by DPI as long as they followed our criteria. And that's the criteria where if a student has failed a class, the quarter before, they're not gonna be allowed. If their attendance is poor, they're not allowed to continue with it for the upcoming semester.
So that criteria has worked well
It
this
has
year.
worked well. There's only been about 3 students who have taken advantage of it, but those students are doing fine. We didn't want to close that door.
Right. That's kind of the way it is.
Yeah.
All right, any questions?
Is there, if you're in a district that doesn't provide online learning, can you open and roll into a district that does?
They would have to open and roll into one of the charter schools.
Okay.
But that's the DPI one that they're talking about.
Yep.
That you can no longer open and roll into.
Okay, I just wanted to
Yeah.
make sure of that.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Do we have a motion?
Motion to approve, Gail.
I'll say.
We have a motion and a second to approve the online learning criteria for the 2022-23 school year for grades K or 6 through 12. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Moving on to administrative report. Dr. Cummings, communications?
Yes. Thank you for the memorial sent for Bill and Janet Follis to the school district board, office staff and administration, gratefully acknowledging and thanking you for your kind expression of sympathy. Thank you for the beautiful card and all the kind words from all of you. A gift of money was also appreciated. The family of Bill and Janet Follis. Child Development Day flyer for ages 2.5 to 4. Invitation to the April 18th, 2022 National Honor Society ceremony in the high school auditorium. And should I move on to the yellow flashing?
Yes.
Right, okay. This has been quite a project, and I thank you, Mike, for sticking with me for all the yellow flashing light work. Yes, yes. As we've gone through, there's still a couple who we haven't heard from or pinned down or feel like we still need to go back to them. We do have Iron River. We do have Amnicon. We have Town of Hughes is, I've gone there twice and they still haven't made a decision. You had Highland right away, right? Highland, correct. Hawthorne is one of those that's kind of still in the limbo, not deciding what they want to do. Lake Nebagaman was a no.
Wow.
Yeah. I'm trying to think where, Poplar is a yes. Maple was a yes. Clover was a no.
No, and Lakeside, I'm attending their annual meeting.
Coming up, right, correct. Part of the challenge was the feeling, at least from one place, was we just cut a check for 400,000 of the taxes, and now you're asking for 600. And so their feeling was you ought to do it within the budget that you already given. And we shared that we're going to do well over 4,000 towards the lights. But the difficulty is it's safety now. We can't wait for it. And the thought of trying to share with each of the municipalities would be a big help. We did do a quantification of how many children would be affected. And for the one, it's 35 kids in the town of Hughes. When it was Amnicon, that was the most harmonious meeting. They have 236 kids, and the motion was fast, and they wish us well. And the goal, of course, is spring. We need it up and we need it going. So you'll be going to Lakeside?
Yes.
Right, and at this point, I'm gonna reach out again to Hawthorne. It doesn't hurt to try. The impression we got from Lake Nevagaman is it was a hard no. Is that correct? Peg?
Right.
Okay. So that's where we're at for the update.
Can you just tell us how will these work? Will they just be on during that time when the
In that
buses?
window. Yes, that's what's so lovely about this, because if they were on all the time, people would ignore them and it wouldn't make any difference. But there's the window and they can be programmed for the window. And there's solar to it, so there shouldn't be as much electricity draw, but there's still gonna have to be some power to that. And there'll be one on the west side coming towards the elementary and one positioned on the east of Weehee. The biggest concern, of course, is where Weehee is, because you have 15 to 16 buses all trying to come out Weehee, crossing over Highway 2 and getting themselves to the east to go to the high school. So that's where the challenge is.
So the warning is just basically
It's a
telling
wing way.
people that there's traffic or buses are pulling out.
Correct.
Be careful.
Correct.
And then
And
we
to slow
put
down
a
to
timer.
45.
Yes,
And to slow down to 45.
that's the hope.
Okay.
Did you say Jennifer was a yes?
Yes. It took 2 meetings for
Does
that.
it have a sign then that will say that, or that's just? it'll
No,
just
there,
be
the 45 is already
They're
there,
there.
but it's an advisory 45. It can't be ticketed. And that becomes.
Okay, okay. Any other questions about it?
Did you say girl? Did you say girl?
Rule, what did rule? I think they were a no.
Yeah,
I think they were a no, yes. But if you think I should go back a second time, I can do that.
I think we should threaten all these towns to run all of our buses up and down a crappy dirt road. You don't want to give me
Well-
$600 you can pay it this way.
The thing about the safety on Highway 2, the jurisdiction is actually the village of Poplar. It's in their area, so, but all these entities look at it as a school issue.
It is.
School asking for money, it's really in, and the reason the state or federal reason they don't put the lights up there is they have to have data.
They have to have a study done. And
Study.
it's 2 years to even get on the roster list to get on their study.
So you either have to have a number of accidents.
Yep.
Or a fatality, something like that, and we want to accomplish this prior to that.
That's good.
The state did put up the signs at their cost.
They did.
They did.
Yes.
They did. And they were able to get us a better price on the actual wigwag lights.
And they've been very cooperative.
That's where we are today.
Thank you for that update.
We will be proceeding though, as soon as the snow, so, I mean, we have to.
Canvas notice and ballot for the April 5th, 2022 school board election.
Nothing special? No?
Okay.
No.
We have maintenance update in our packet. Any questions from Mr. Stafford on those? It's pretty general this time.
We do have one item that we're assessing now. We did have boiler failure in the high school has a 2 boiler system, a large one and then one that's slightly smaller as a backup. We had a crack in the heat exchanging part of that boiler, and unfortunately, it may or may not be weldable. The manufacturer says it's risky to do that, and unfortunately, it's obsolete, so you can't get a new heat exchanger. So we're going to be assessing the cost here and the timing of replacing that boiler probably.
Where is that?
The main boiler at the high school.
It's the main, not the secondary?
Yeah, so that, when that went out, the controls also partially failed too. So when that went out, that was a number of weeks ago, it was right at the tail end of our worst weather. So the backup boiler has been doing a decent job of keeping us heated since then, which is what it's supposed to do. But it normally works in conjunction with the main boiler. But I will keep you posted that it'll be a significant upgrade.
Could be 6 weeks.
We don't know. Yeah, like getting some calls.
Thank you. WASB correspondence and legislative report. Mrs. Olson?
Nothing too much, legislature wrapped up, but they did have, the U.S. Department of Education release the new CTE fact sheet, that's CTE, not to be confused with CRT, which is the Career and Tech Ed, to help guide ESSER 3 decisions, and highlighting how states and local schools can make use of the funding from ESSER 3 to support high-quality career and tech ed programs. The guidance resource highlights several states' efforts to use the resources to develop, expand, or otherwise implement career and tech ed activities as part of their recovery efforts. And as I was looking through some of those, we seem to be right in line with what other states are doing as far as how they're getting money and reaching out for career and tech ed opportunities.
Thank you.
CISA 12 report, Mrs. Sari.
I really have nothing new to add, except I know Dr. Madison, the administrator for CISA, is going to be asking some administrators to join the assessment team for the facility upgrade or whatever. So, and then that they are going to be coming around to the district and finishing their meeting with Dr. Madison and the special ed director, and I can't remember Sarah Wiesner, I guess, the deaf person.
Awesome.
That's all I have.
Thank you. Donation?
Ken made a donation to the high school interview closet for $100. That's a place in the high school that has extra clothes and hygiene items available for students. And that's it.
We have in our packets reports from all of our schools, as well as our athletic activities coordinator and our director of special education for our reading, and then we would like to hear from our school board reps.
Good evening. As you heard, the visual arts classic competition for the art club is on Friday, earlier this evening. Choir and band has a solo and ensemble competition on Tuesday, March 29th, coming up here. We have a coffee house concert on April 4th, and I know that the high school jazz band will be playing as part of that. And choir specifically has a large group contest on April 6th. As far as Tiger Manufacturing, we've mostly been wrapping up some of the larger projects we've been working on. We don't run for the fourth quarter, so this is our last quarter, so we don't want to leave any projects half done, and started really putting in the hours in some of the larger projects. Make sure we can wrap up on time.
All right, so girls basketball and boys basketball just finished. The boys finished as conference champions. Wrestling, Ian Smith finished second at state in his weight class. Baseball started today. Softball and track started last Monday. DECA will be soon attending internationals. FBLA state leads this Sunday. And then SAD, FCCLA, Green Club, and SD are having their regular meetings.
All right. Thank you very much. Student of Staff and Community Recognition.
Yes, Richard Baum Veterans Historical Center Writing Contest. What changes to our lives and freedoms were generated by the attacks on September 11th, 2001? How do the events of that day continue to affect even those like you who may have no memory of it? First place, 6th grade division, Lauren Zipko. Runners-up, honorable mention, Elijah Kreplin, Finley Peterson, AJ Kettle. Cindy Madison, grade 8, qualified for the Junior Olympics for alpine skiing. Northwestern Music Association High School All-Conference Honor Band, UMD High School, Honor Band, Northwestern
Music Association Middle School All-Conference Band, including ninth grade this year. And the list of honorees is attached to the agenda. Wisconsin Music Association Instrumental Concert Festival, Northwestern High School Concert Band received the highest rating on a scale of 1 to 4 from all 3 judges for a composite score of 1, excellent.
And I'll say excellent, all of that. Thank you. All right, we are at the point where I ask if there's any comments from our audience. All right, hearing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion and a second to adjourn the meeting. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the same sign. Motion carries. Thank you, everyone.
I'll send you an email.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bye, Brian.